Did you call Byron Donalds a slave?
I did.
And a DEI hire?
I did.
Or calling him Byron? Goyslop.
We're going to get the Goyslop out of the cafeterias.
I just want to know if you thought these comments were helpful or what your thoughts are on using those terms.
Across the board, price written up, you can check the score. See me in real like they lock jaw. Really am about it, yeah, put it on the floors. Put it in drive like I'm in a Q4. Stacking them racks like a boss, of course. Middle name pressure, that's for sure. Bitch, I'm a dumb at LA, you know. CEO, got a boss energy.
Is he gonna jump off the bridge?
Yeah, I'm close to calling the police.
James, next time you won't need to call an audible. You can call the governor and I'll call in the Florida National Guard and remove the homeless from our streets.
Do you think Michelle Obama is a man?
I'm not convinced Michelle Obama is a woman. The Everglades, 5 minutes from where I grew up, is not worth replacing for a data center or a solar farm. James O'Keefe is an American patriot.
My Price is My Life, setting sail with James Fishback. There are over 100,000 podcasts in the US, but have you ever seen a host interview guests while teaching them how to sail? Powerboats, like the power motive in politics, takes the poetry out of natural propulsion. The ocean just becomes a roadway. But on a sailboat, the ocean becomes a safe space for authenticity. French sailor Metissier once said he stayed at sea to save his soul on his sailboat. There's something to that. We live in an era where social media drains the love and joy out of our humanity. Speed, not repose. Sound bites, not depth. Clicks, not truth. American politics follows suit, treating any sit-down conversation like an endorsement. As a sailor, I reject that premise. I've seen a crew forced into teamwork mid-tack, division evaporating once their sails catch wind. It's in this dance with nature, far from the land of likes and views, that you get to know who someone truly is. Join me and my guests as we set sail in search of nothing more than the truth. This is My Price is My Life, setting sail with James Fishback. Welcome to Lucky Charm 3.
Thanks, James.
It's a 1993 Alden 45 foot. After you. Watch your step. All aboard. So, James, you ever been sailing before?
No.
All right.
I had some problems here getting a pedestrian off the bridge as well.
Look at that.
Yeah, give me a call when you...
Look at that. There's a guy on the bridge.
There, Captain. Next one will be 6:15.
Next one will be 6:15. Is that the guy standing in the middle of the bridge?
That's correct, Captain.
He's just standing there, not moving?
Yes, and I've done everything I can. I used the horn and everything, and he won't budge. So, yeah, I'm close to calling the police.
Is he gonna jump off the bridge?
Well, he's got his bicycle there, so I kind of doubt it.
He's not gonna commit suicide 10 feet off the water. It's never a dull moment on the Lucky Charm. All right, Scott. There's a guy standing on the bridge. That bridge opens 15 minutes after the hour, and he won't move. Well, that sucks. It's actually, I wonder what he's doing.
I think he's moving now.
Is he moving? It's always there's always an issue with the bridge. So I think we should just do the interview on the boat with James sitting here at the dock, and that's what we'll do. And then we can always go out in Scott's boat for a little while. I think that's what we do. That's the damnedest thing. So basically, the situation is we're here with James Fishback, running for governor. James, again, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for your adventurous spirit. Dressed really amazingly on a sailboat. We actually can't open the bridge. That's Flagler Bridge. There's a man, if you want to pan to that guy right there. He won't move. He's posing. So even if we wanted to get onto that bridge today, we couldn't go sailing because they can't open the bridge. So actually, it's a good segue. So Palm Beach County, there's a lot of homeless people in Clematis here.
I know.
What's the solution to that problem?
Well, the solution is don't leave it up to the local government. They've clearly lost the plot. They don't want to do anything. As Florida governor, I'd start a state of emergency. I'd activate the Florida National Guard to begin to remove the homeless from our streets. The homeless fall into three categories. The first of which is the 2,300 homeless vets on our streets tonight. They have to be given long-term housing, and that's what I would do. It doesn't matter the what, the who, if you're a vet on our streets, that's unacceptable. We need to do right by you. That's 2,300 people right there. The second is there's a lot of criminals on our street who are either fugitives from justice, have a bench warrant, are currently in the commission of a crime, whether it's possession of drugs or what have you. Let's get them into law enforcement's hand. And the last is people who are recently homeless, moms, kids, teenagers, people who are being trafficked. Let's get them into a better situation. But you can't live on our streets, not just for your own sake, but for the sake of you and me. I've walked on Clematis since I was a kid. I grew up about an hour south of here.
You grew up in Davies?
I grew up in Davie, yeah.
South, that's near Miami?
Yeah.
And you used to come to West Palm as a kid?
Yeah, my sister and I used to hang out here a lot on the weekends. My cousin actually goes to school right off of Clematis here. She's in high school, and so I take her here often. When I'm down here, we'll go to school with her, and you see about 5 or 6 people outside of the Starbucks on Clematis shouting things, and you can't have it. It's not a modern society.
Why does that culture exist here in West Palm Beach and other parts of this South Florida? Yeah, Phil, you're welcome to sit here. Why does that culture exist here and not other parts of South Florida?
Well, because the local government has emboldened them. When the local government doesn't stop the homeless from shouting, living, urinating, being publicly intoxicated on our streets, when you don't stop that, James, you embolden it. And if that keeps going, a lot of people are attracted. Not too far from here, a 74-year-old woman off of Palm Beach Gardens Boulevard was stabbed to death inside of a Barnes & Noble by a homeless man just days before Christmas last year. Florida, Palm Beach County in particular, has a massive homeless problem. And I'm not waiting for local government to figure it out. They're too busy on Lord knows what. I'm going to activate the Florida National Guard.
You're going to activate the National Guard?
Yeah, I'm going to remove the homeless from our streets.
And people are going to say, well, that's dictatorial, that's tyrannical.
Well, what's tyrannical is living under these conditions.
It is dangerous here on Clematis, and especially at night, late at night. I mean, our office is downtown. It's not a good situation. So the man is still there. Luke, if you want to pan over to the guy on the bridge, what are the odds? Speaking of homeless, there's what appears to be, we have not confirmed this, but there's a homeless man standing on the Flagler Memorial Bridge, so we can't actually go sailing today, even if we wanted to.
So an unproductive member of society is thwarting the interest of productive members of society.
Hey, Flagler Memorial, has that man not left the bridge yet? It's crazy. Maybe he's trying to disrupt the Price is My Life podcast with James. He's not a fan of James Fishback.
Or James O'Keefe.
Or James O'Keefe.
He's a protester.
Flagler Memorial, come in. You grew up in South Florida.
Go ahead, Captain.
Is that guy still? Oh, he just left.
Yeah, it looks like he's leaving. He saw me on the phone there.
We might have a special treat here, James, because Captain Scott has his motorboat, which doesn't require a bridge to open. So for those who are not familiar with Florida politics, just in full disclosure, I'm going to be interviewing everyone running for governor of Florida. Who is James Fishback?
I'm a 4th-generation Floridian, born and raised in South Florida. My wife and I now live in the Panhandle. I love the state, and I'm a constitutional conservative. We had a debate a couple weeks ago, and I started the debate off by saying that if Ron DeSantis could run for a 3rd term, I would not be in this race because he's been the greatest governor in Florida history. And I believe that. I'm not a political guy. My opponent attacked me last week saying you can't vote for Fishback because he has no political experience. James, I have none, and I'm proud of it. I think that politics as normal got us into this mess, and I think that leaders like DeSantis, Trump, Reagan, our founding fathers, they're the ones who can break the political malaise and write the next great chapter here in Florida. And so that's what I'm running to do.
So constitutional conservative.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. Like, what are your political views? What are your values?
So my view, we'll talk about the Second Amendment for a moment. I don't just take the Second Amendment seriously, I take it literally. So shall not be infringed means that if someone dislikes your reporting, they're not allowed to call into the police, lie about you, get a temporary restraining order, and without any hearing or any due process, confiscate your guns. That's what happens in Cuba, Venezuela, North Korea, and China. That doesn't happen in America or in the free state of Florida. So laws like that State Statute 784 along with State Statute 790, I want to repeal it. That's a threat to our Second Amendment.
784 is the red flag laws.
784 is cyber stalking, which allows the temporary injunction, the TRO. And then 790 is the red flag laws.
790 is the red flag laws. People are confused because you joined me at the police station. We had put that video out by the time of this filming. We're here with James Fishback at the police station to see if I'm going to get my guns back.
James, here's my commitment to you. When we overturn this law, we're going to name it the O'Keefe Act.
People are very confused. They don't know about all these, Florida politics in the weeds. They're just like, wait, you moved from New Jersey to the free state of Florida, and I'm not even sure New Jersey has those statutes. How the hell did Florida institute that?
Well, like all gun control, it comes from a place of goodness, right? But of course, common sense gun control is an oxymoron. There is nothing common sense about telling a law-abiding citizen who has never seen a judge, never had a hearing, that you can lose your right to your Second Amendment. And I want to end that here in Florida. I believe we need to defend the Second Amendment with everything we got. That means repealing red flag laws, ending the war on forced reset triggers, on bump stocks. We need to make sure that we are the Second Amendment capital of the United States.
Why isn't the governor and the state house and the Senate doing that already?
It's a great question. They have different priorities than what I do. What I tell you is my priority is to get back to what our founding fathers started 250 years ago, and I will not rest until our constitutional rights are protected for everybody.
Just tell me about you're 31?
I am.
31, and you're in business?
I am business owner.
What type of business are you in?
Investment firm. So for the last 10 years, I've been investing in medium and small companies all over the country. My firm called Azoria deployed $40 million of capital last year, James, specifically in companies that refuse to use DEI. So many companies want to hire on race, gender, skin color, the rest of it. I only invest in companies that hire people on their God-given talents. And that's seen great success for our investors, and I'm ready to bring that success to politics here in Florida.
Give me an example of some of the companies you've invested in.
So I'll tell you what I haven't invested in, which is Best Buy. Best Buy, we actually wrote them in early 2025. They had a policy that said that 1 out of 3 employees had to be BIPOC, Black, Indigenous people of color. BIPOC. Black, Indigenous.
I haven't heard.
And that's weird if you haven't heard it. I
haven't heard that acronym.
You're an anti-woke crusader. So BIPOC means Black, Indigenous people of color. Best Buy had a policy that said that 1 out of 3 of their employees had to be BIPOC. Why?
We did do a story on Best Buy 3 years ago. That's right.
It's craziness. So I'll give you an example of a company that we have invested in proudly, and that's Tesla.
You have or have not?
Have. And it's because Tesla hires the best employees no matter what they look like, no matter where in the United States that they're from. If you're going to help make electric cars, driverless trucks, whatever you want to do, that's what Tesla stands for. That's why I was proud to invest in them heavily in 2025.
So you're 31 years old, which makes you a pretty young millennial. You were born in, what is it? You're born in 95.
Yeah.
So you're like 1 or 2 years away from Gen Z. You just missed the cutoff. I mean, I'm a millennial, but I'm on the older, I'm 42, I'm 1984, I'm on the older end of that spectrum. So I guess the question I have is, what is the most millennial thing about you?
I still remember going to Blockbuster as a kid.
You still remember Blockbuster?
I do.
You were like right at the edge of that.
I was like right at, probably at 4 or 5 is when it stopped. But I still remember having to rewind, be kind to rewind.
But you didn't get Seinfeld or Michael Jordan. You probably don't remember that.
No, I didn't. I watch Seinfeld now on Netflix.
Yeah.
I still remember, and I know you do, Netflix used to come in DVDs in the mail.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. I mean, Michael Jordan, you didn't have the pleasure of watching him.
I didn't see
So
that.
is it LeBron or Michael Jordan is the best?
I think it's still Jordan.
Yeah.
I didn't get to experience it in the moment, but I think it's still Jordan.
You're obviously a very busy guy. I mean, do you take days off?
In the last 6 months, I haven't.
Not one day off?
No.
Not Sunday, not
No, I go to church for an hour and a half on Sunday, and that's it.
What type of, are you
I'm Catholic.
Catholic?
Yeah.
What do you do in your hobbies, your free time? You don't sounds like you have any.
I read, go on long walks, paddleboard, rage bait my wife.
And you have any kid? You have any kids?
She's pregnant.
She's pregnant
So we're
with a
expecting.
child.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
February. Thank you.
If you could take a day off, I mean, I would go sailing on my day off. What would you do? What would you do?
I'd probably go paddleboarding. I love paddleboarding. I do it either in the Intercoastal, where I grew up in Broward County. I might even go to Homosassa Springs, Rainbow Springs, Weeki Wachee River, out in Hernando County. There's so many beautiful rivers in Florida.
You've gained a lot of attention since you started your campaign for governor. How do you stay humble?
For me, it is surrounding myself with a team that keeps me humble, that doesn't build me up any more than our campaign is. I talk to my parents every single day, once in the morning, once at night, and my wife keeps me really humble as well. And so I don't spend as much time today reading comments or reading articles about our campaign. I just focus on the in-person events. Right after this, we'll have an in-person event. Earlier today, we had one.
Right across the street or 10 minutes away?
About 10 minutes away.
Where is it located?
It's at Palm Beach Seafood and Lobster.
Palm Beach Seafood, is that on the island?
No, it's here.
Oh, it's in
on
West
Dixie
Palm
Highway.
Beach.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, we're going to do a little bit of it. We're going to talk about on the front of the boat, and then we'll move over to the
other boat.
To the other boat. So let's go to the front of the boat, guys. So you're a 4th generation Floridian. I am new living to South Florida. Tell me about what it means to be like a Floridian. What does that mean?
What it means is that all of this, it's not worth replacing even for all the money in the world. The Everglades, 5 minutes from where I grew up, is not worth replacing for a data center or a solar farm. that there's a lot of things that we could do for a cheap buck here in Florida that we passed up on because we want to keep the Florida way of life. That means fishing, that means sailing, that means going out on the boat, that means paddleboarding, that means swimming, that means hunting, that means hiking. And so I'm running to keep Florida, Florida. That's why I'm running to ban data centers, ban new solar farms. I want to protect and preserve all of this because I don't want to ever give this up.
Well, it's changed a lot. I mean, it's West Palm Beach is gentrifying, and I think that Florida used to be a place where people would make their money, kind of like my friend Phil says, and move here. But now it feels like people are coming here in order to make money, in order to establish a business here in Palm Beach County.
Yeah.
Is that happening?
It's happening. I mean, a lot of the great restaurant chains, fast casual restaurant chains have started right here in Florida. We have a great entertainment life here. I want to bring cinema, filmmaking back to Florida. It's done a lot in Georgia. Bring those same tax credits to Florida. There's no reason we shouldn't be filming the best motion pictures right here in Palm Beach County or Broward or Dade County. And so I want to do that for our state, but I'll tell you, I don't want to make this the financial capital of the world.
Right.
I don't want to make this the AI capital of the world. We got space, we've got aviation, we've got boating, we've got tourism, we've got leisure and hospitality. Got the breakers right over there. That's what Florida should be known for.
Stephen Ross is a developer. Is he a supporter of yours? Do you know him? Or?
I know of him. He's not a supporter of mine because I want to curb the kind of reckless development that I think that Mr. Ross represents. He's a good man, but you need someone to stand up to big firms like that, because if it were up to him, you'd have large parts of the Everglades that were paved over and filled up into strip malls, and we don't need any more Dollar Generals or Five Belows.
Are you coming from that from a conservationist standpoint or a different point?
It's mainly conservationist. Yeah, and it's also a traffic standpoint. Right? So Florida has taken in about 2 million people in the last 7 years. And our infrastructure is not keeping up. If you know anybody from down here in Palm Beach County, what it takes to go on Southern Boulevard from Wellington to the island might have only taken 20 minutes ago. 20 minutes 5-6 years ago. Now it takes almost 45 minutes to an hour. And so, yes, conservation, but also our way of life, the ability to get from point A to point B, that is being threatened by all this new development. I want development, but I want it to be at our appropriate pace, not as quickly as possible.
How do you deal? Is it better roads? How do you even solve for that?
It means don't build unless the infrastructure is there.
I see. And the data center thing, for those who are not familiar with I know that's something you're passionate about. Just tell us what that's all about.
So these data centers are popping up everywhere. They started in Virginia, they got them in Pennsylvania, in Georgia, and it's a 2 million square foot facility that runs computers all day long, and the ostensible purpose is to make AI a little bit faster. Does it make AI faster? I'm sure it does. The question is the reward worth the risk? What are the risks, James? Electric bills go up because you need that much electricity. You pull it off the grid, we pay for it. It jeopardizes our water supply. Florida's going through a 26-year drought right now. There are active wildfires all over the state, 8 to be specific. And then lastly, I fear that the data center is becoming part and parcel of the mass surveillance state. Think flock cameras, which I want to block here in Florida.
What's a flock camera for those who
the 4,000 cameras up and down our streets, outside of our churches, our schools, our playgrounds. They run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, monitoring.
Who's in charge of those cameras?
Flock Safety, which is a company based out of Georgia.
How is that legal if Florida's a two-party consent to record? How does that work?
That's exactly right. It violates that law. It violates the Fourth
Amendment. It's actually a zero-party consent because there's nobody manning
on either
the camera.
side.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So, and why is that a problem? Because you got people who are being wrongly accused left, right, and center. In LA, of all places, in LA in the last 60 days, 161 people were driving their car only to have Flock tell them that they were driving a stolen car. Can you imagine you and your better half driving down here on Flagler or on Southern, being dragged out of the car at gunpoint by cops who knew no better? They were told by the Flock AI that you're a dangerous criminal. You get thrown on the asphalt at gunpoint because of an erroneous AI alert. I cannot have that in the state of Florida. That's unconstitutional. It's un-American. I'm the only candidate who will say it, but we got to block Flock.
And in order to enact all these things, you need the House and the Senate, right?
On a lot of them, sure. On the Flock, though, in particular, those are government contracts that get approved by the governor's office. And so every Flock camera you see in Florida, it is actually funded with taxpayer money. We are funding indirectly our own surveillance state.
I didn't even know about that, frankly.
And so Flock, they don't pay for it themselves. We pay for it. The city of West Palm, Palm Beach County. I'm going to pull those government contracts, rip them to shreds. The governor's office can do that pretty unilaterally, and we can end the mass surveillance state pretty quick.
Issues do you said you wanted to use? Was it executive
authority?
Executive authority. And what was the provision that you cited to give you the power to do that?
Article 4, Section 7 of the Florida Constitution allows you to suspend any elected official here in Florida.
I see.
Any official that's that's violating the law. So I'll give you an example. On April 24th of this year, armed police officers without a warrant, without congressional authorization, without constitutional due process, stormed your office and took 3 of your guns, 1 handgun and 2 shotguns, without a hearing, without anything so much as due process. That is state statute 784. It falls under the cyber-stalking law, which essentially says, James, if someone is offended by your reporting, they can go to the court and say, I don't like it, take away his guns. Our founding fathers are rolling over in their graves to find out that happened to you. But guess what, James? If it can happen to you, it can happen to anybody in the state of Florida.
And I have lawyers and I'm a known person. In many ways, I'm more protected than the unknown person.
You are.
That's the issue at hand here in the state of Florida.
There are 5 people a day who get their guns confiscated
you
through that law.
mentioned that 5 a day. I'd actually, if you're one of those people, I'd like to hear from you. I'd like to tell your story. And especially if you're a citizen journalist and this happened to you, because it's kind of a case of first impression. It's a matter of constitutional law. They can't possibly win long-term litigating in the courts. They're going to lose, but the problem is the process is the punishment. The process is the punishment. And in Florida, there's an anti-SLAPP law. I said this to you in the police station, anti-SLAPP, but I think my lawyer told me it's a risk because if I lose that anti-SLAPP, now I have to pay for their lawyer bills. So this is kind of a messed up situation.
They're trying to wear you down, and good patriots, law-abiding citizens should never be in a justice system that intentionally is rigged against them. And that's exactly what's happening to you.
AI. So do you use AI?
I do.
Which one do you use?
I use Claude and Grok.
And is the data centers, is that closely affiliated with AI?
They want you to believe that.
Okay.
Here's the thing. There are 4,200 data centers in the United States. There are 470 in China. We've already won the AI war. You know, my grandfather was a computer science major at Florida Atlantic University, about 30 minutes south of here in Boca. And he would tell you that in the 1970s and 80s, computers were the size of Costco warehouses, and now those same computers fit in our pocket. Why are we building an AI data center that in 5 years is going to be obsolete, is going to be 1/100th of the size? And so I fear it's because a lot of the big land developers want to buy up cheap land, flip it for the next AI data center.
So it's a greedy thing.
It's a greed thing, and I don't want that to happen in our state because, you know what? If you buy something and you screw up, you can return it, you could sell it. If you pave over citrus groves or the Everglades or a wetlands to build a data center, you cannot easily undo that. And so I don't want our farmers, I don't want our rural towns to be run roughshod over.
It's kind of like libertarianism clashes with, you know, the freedom, the freedom of doing whatever you want clashes with this conservationist spirit that you have in a sense.
It is, and in a sense, people talk about property rights. You know, my opponent Byron Donalds will say, well, what about the AI data center? Don't they have property rights? And I would say to him, well, what about the property rights of the people who live 100 feet from the data center, where there is EMF, where there is audible noise pollution, where there is the potential even for small radioactive waves? What happens in that case? Do they not have property rights, not have to live next to something like that?
It reminds me of, you know, completely different, but it reminds me of, in recording jurisprudence, the conflict between the right to privacy and the right to record what somebody tells you. It's a very fascinating conflict of competing rights. Let's move over to Captain Scott's boat. We're going to take a boat ride to get under the bridge. So here we go. Let's go. Okay, let's go, Scott. We're going.
We're standing up to the powers that tried to discredit us, silence us, smear us, raid us, and throw us in jail. They've awakened a sleeping giant. We're building a movement of transparency and accountability in both the public and private sectors because we run from nothing. We hide from nothing. And when you join and get your full access pass, you fuel a movement to truth. We are the media now.
Check. Come on, baby. Come on, let's do it.
It all started when Starlight, that's the code word for one of our undercover journalists and American swipers, matched on the dating app Hinge and went on a hidden camera date with yet another Disney executive.
We were the first people ever to get Disney employees to admit that they discriminate against people based on race.
They wanted somebody in meetings who would appear a certain way.
Do you think Bob Iger is corrupt?
Now? Yeah.
No way we're hiring a white male as well.
I knew this story was going to be big. We've investigated a lot of subjects at OMG, CIA, the FBI. For the first time ever, something very special happened.
Michael Giordano matched with and was actively hitting on yet another one of our swipers.
So now, Michael Giordano is now dating not one, but 2 of our American swipers.
Hey, this guy is 2-timing me.
This guy's on fire.
There's going to be a lawsuit.
I will put you on tape.
I'm looking to bring on any more clients who are.
We've never seen undercover footage like this before.
He just had no idea what was coming.
Figured, why not make this a double date?
Are you guys on a date? You told me you had a tickle in your throat.
Right here. Are you okay with you being in this episode?
I'm cool. You know I've got no allegiance to anybody.
Your wife's a Florida voter, right?
Yeah.
She voting for us?
She's a Donalds fan.
Oh, is she really?
Yeah, she's doing it for a million years.
Uh-oh. We're coming.
Awkward.
Listen, I don't care. I told him, I was like, I think he's a nice guy. We had him on the boat.
Caroline Wren is a Donalds fan. Uh-oh. James keys your boat when you leave. The homeless man prevented the bridge from opening, but we called an audible with my friend Scott on his boat, and we're going to still conduct an interview on the water.
James, next time you won't need to call an audible. You can call the governor, and I'll call in the Florida National Guard and remove the homeless from our streets.
Now, as you know, I'm a Floridian now.
Yes.
I moved there from New Jersey. What I love about Florida is there is a sense here that you can do whatever you want. There is that feeling. There's just an energy to this place. It's vibrant, it's healthy, there's sunshine. It's a vibe. It's different than where I'm from, in the New York metropolitan area, which is a different culture. New York's more like people hustle, there's bustle, they're corporate, they go to work. It feels like I'm on vacation, you know?
I love it here.
It's pretty beautiful.
I love it, especially on the island. It's just beautiful. Just walking around, getting a coffee. It's beautiful.
You spend a lot of time on Palm Beach Island?
I did as a kid, yeah. I live in the Panhandle now, so it's about 7 hours away.
You live in the Panhandle?
Yeah.
That's kind of like Alabama almost?
I live 20 miles from the Georgia line.
Do you like it there?
I do. It's pretty quiet, but totally different world from this.
Do you have to drive when you come down here, or do you fly, or how does that work?
I was in Orlando prior to this, so it was just an easy 3.5-hour drive.
Yeah, because you're on the phone, I'm sure, the whole time in the car.
I was calling voters most of my drive down here, which is great. Yes, we got phone banking, so we can see who hasn't turned in an absentee ballot yet. I call them. They never believe it's actually me. They have to talk to them for about a minute or two before they think it's not AI. And I'll walk them through. What are my focuses? What are you concerned about? Where does our platform align?
You talk to voters individually.
Individually.
How do you get the energy?
Caffeine.
Caffeine. Because like Scott Presser told me, like Donald Trump is energized by the people. Do you relate to that? Is that how you feel?
I do. I feel really good. Nothing will cure down spirits for me than showing up to an event and having 250 patriots there.
So that energizes you.
Totally.
No part of it sucks the energy out of you.
No, it totally recharges me.
Okay, I'm a little different. I'm an extroverted introvert. When I go on stage, it energizes me. When there's a crowd, sometimes I got to step away for a minute, recharge my batteries.
Fair enough.
But you shake hands, it energizes you.
It does.
Okay. When was the moment when you were like, I need to run for office?
For me, it wasn't a singular moment. So Byron Donalds is actually a friend. I actually had dinner with him a month or two before I decided to run.
He's your friend.
I consider him a friend.
Does he consider you a friend?
Well, that remains to be seen.
I'll ask him.
Here's what I think. Politics is not about the who, it's about the what. I have zero political experience. I was a business owner 7 months ago, running my business full time, 12 employees, building out a great investment firm. I got into this out of necessity because there was no one in Florida who was willing to step up and run for governor who wants to ban data centers, block FLOC, totally eliminate property taxes for Florida residents, and actually stand up for the environment, not in a woke, liberal, Greta Thunberg way, but protect all of this. Protect this from being...
What's the difference between the woke Greta Thunberg way and your way in protecting the environment?
Well, the woke Greta Thunberg way wants to build solar farms and windmills, and I'm against that. I'm for something called nuclear energy. I'm for fossil fuels that are smartly used. I don't want to force people into electric cars if they don't want it. And so my focus as a conservationist, kind of like Teddy Roosevelt was, is protect our land, protect our water, protect our skies. You shouldn't have to be in polluted waters if you're fishing. And I grew up fishing on Lake Okeechobee, grew up fishing in the Everglades, grew up 5 minutes from it. And I want to protect that for my kids and the next generation.
You grew up in Colombia? Or your mother grew up in Colombia?
My mom was born in Colombia, yeah.
Your mom is Colombian and English is second language for her? Or?
Sure is, yeah.
And what brought her to the United States?
She was here on a trip, and she met my dad in 1993.
On a work trip, vacation?
Work trip, yeah.
Work trip. And you spent your summers in Colombia?
Yeah, I did.
Where in Colombia?
Santander, which is a small province in the middle of the country. It's really hot. It's the oil capital of Colombia.
The oil capital?
The oil capital.
How
There's oil wells up and down that town.
How did that shape who you are and your identity?
It shaped my identity because I'm fluent in Spanish, so I grew up speaking Spanish, spending my summers down there. What shaped my identity was growing up being on the water, paddleboarding, swimming. I surfed in Deerfield Beach and Dania Beach in South Florida, and I love my state, and that's why I'm running to protect it.
And do you speak to a lot of Latina people in your constituency?
I do, but I actually make it a point not to speak in Spanish, even though I'm fluent, because Teddy Roosevelt said that we have one language, the English language, we have one flag, the American flag. I just think it's inappropriate if you're running for office to pander in a different language. I can connect with Hispanic voters in Miami or Tampa on a broad range of issues in our language, in English.
Where do we stand in Miami-Dade on the Hispanic community? Are they more conservative? Are they more Republican currently, or how's that?
Yeah, they're more conservative.
Because I know it was a 2020 election, or was it 2016? They overwhelmingly, or there was some.
So in 2024, Miami-Dade County for the first time in a long time went red for Trump.
Is that trending more red, or is that?
It's probably stalled out a little bit because of some of the immigration stuff. A lot of Miami-Dade residents feel the immigration stuff has gone too far. My view is if you're in the country illegally, you have to go. I, though, would prioritize people who are actively committing crimes as opposed to a 72-year-old abuelita, a grandmother who's been in the country for 25 or 30 years. I think she has to go too, with all due respect, but she is not my priority. The gangbangers, the cartel members, the sex traffickers, that's who I would put law enforcement on.
The base of Trump is upset that people have not been shipped out of the country. That's a common theme.
They are, and they have every right to be, because we were promised mass deportations and we have not gotten that. I think you can do mass.
Stand on that?
I want to do mass deportations, but I want to do it in a smarter way. What I would do is I would tax remittances of illegal aliens sending money back to Haiti or wherever. I would suspend the bank accounts of every illegal alien in our state and say, you can get your money if you leave the country. We'll give you your money 15 days after you leave the country. There's smart ways we can get people to leave of their own volition without having to put state or local law enforcement in harm's way.
What authority will you have as governor to make that happen, if any?
So the 10th Amendment gives me a lot of authority. The 10th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution says that what is not reserved for the federal government falls on the state government and her people. A lot of the stuff that we're talking about right now has never been tried, so courts have never ruled on it. But if you got good constitutional lawyers like I know you do and I do, they can stand up and defend this stuff in court. Let's not forget, the Supreme Court said abortion was okay under Roe v. Wade for 50 years. And then all it took was one courageous state in Mississippi to stand up and say, no, we don't believe that. Let's challenge that. And so we're going to challenge a lot of laws. One in particular is called Plyler v. Doe. It's a Supreme Court decision from the 1980s that said that illegal immigrant children have a right to go to public schools in the United States. I disagree with that. I think most Americans disagree with that. That your kids, your teachers, your public school dollars should not go to educate illegal alien children. And I, as governor, would stand up and work to overturn that decision so we can make sure that Florida schools are for U.S. citizens only.
Did you see the president's address yesterday?
I did.
Did you see any of those documents? The White House put all these unclassified documents. One of them said that there's 250,000 illegal immigrants registered to vote.
Yeah.
I'm already trying to report on some of that. Is that happening here in Florida?
I think it is. To a much smaller extent than it is California. Largely, it's just a fact that we've got so many people in the country, 10 million people who came in under Biden. A lot of them have fake IDs. A lot of them have an intent to vote fraudulently. One fraudulent vote, even if it's just one in a state as large as ours, it corrupts the entire system. And so my gold standard for election integrity is this. You have to have ID to vote. No computer voting, no Dominion voting machines. It's got to be paper ballots.
What is the current law in Florida now about voter ID?
So you have to have an ID to vote in Florida. The issue, though, is a lot of those IDs up until recently could even be a student ID. It's very easy to make up a student ID. You need to have a government-issued ID that has a signature on it, that has a photo, that can be easily verified in real time. We still have computer voting machines in Florida, Dominion machines, for example. I only want paper ballots because you cannot hack a piece of paper. There's a chain of custody, you can audit, there's a trail, all of it. So I want to get away from computer voting machines, go to paper ballots, get rid of all this mail-in ballot nonsense.
Is that really possible?
It is possible. You got to fight for it, though. And you have to have someone who's able to communicate the risks of voting machines. Because it wasn't until, as recently as 2016, Kamala Harris was saying that we need to go to paper ballots because you can't hack them. So there's a part of the Democrat Party that wants to believe that our system is broken, and you need a leader who's able to communicate with them.
It seems like the tragedy is people are debating whether facts are true.
That's right.
But I don't know if you saw, we did this thing in Skid Row and LA, and they're, forging names, and someone named their cat after this mysterious voter. And Gavin didn't attack me. He was like, oh, this is wrong, it needs to be prosecuted. But unless Gavin knew something, so they didn't attack me. They said, this is bad. The Mayor Karen, again, this is LA, not Florida, but they're like, this stuff that you expose is bad and we don't support it, but it's a state crime, they don't prosecute it. It almost feels like there has to be some pressure on them. They have to feel some type of pain to do the right thing.
That's right.
In the Democratic states.
Correct.
I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's lobbying. I don't know if you have any ideas on that, to make those people who don't agree with you enforce the law.
I agree. I'm going to try to persuade everybody, but I'm not going to spend my time talking to people blue in the face.
Right.
Or more appropriately, blue in the hair. So my view is this. If you say something is a crime and someone commits that crime and you don't arrest them and throw them in prison,
right,
you are emboldening them. Think about it. Is shoplifting a crime? Yes. But in large parts of this country, they don't prosecute that crime. So effectively, it is not a crime. It is something that is emboldened. Same thing with burning down police stations is a crime. In Minneapolis, apparently, in the name of George Floyd, it isn't. They didn't enforce it, and therefore it was emboldened. So any crime that happens in Florida, we are going to punish people. Governor DeSantis was the only governor in America who actually removed corrupt Soros prosecutors from office using Article 4, Section 7 of the Florida Constitution. I'll use that same constitutional principle to remove corrupt judges, officials, sheriffs. Try to take away your gun rights, who refuse to prosecute crime. You have to stand up for law and order.
Now, the thing about Florida, the weather here is interesting. It's like it changes all the time, It's an interesting... I actually prefer it here in the summer, even though it's hotter. The reason I like it here in Palm Beach County is it's quieter.
I love it.
Restaurants are open.
Oh, yeah, nobody's here.
And it's cooler on the water than it is inland.
Yes,
because the water
much
temperature
cooler.
is, it's the water
a little
temperature.
Breeze, yeah.
Switching gears, or going back to what you're saying about the Florida guns. Florida red flags, these laws were implemented after Parkland. I think that was in 2015 or
2018.
so? 2018. And the guy that, because you mentioned it was in the 90s, there was what was that about? In the 1990s?
They put in place the temporary injunction, the restraining order process that said that if you were slapped with a restraining order request, not even a granted, a request without a judge, without you appearing before a judge, your guns could be confiscated, and still can be. You recognized that in April when the police came and took away your guns. Had you seen a judge?
Yeah, it was interesting you ask. You asked me in the police station. What happened was there's an initial TRO from a county judge who doesn't even look at you or listen to you. They just go off the pleadings, and in the pleadings, Matthew Tierman, by the way, just by uttering his name, he might try to hold me in contempt. I'm a reporter, I have a First Amendment right, and I'm going to say the name Matthew Tierman argued in the pleadings that there were mean comments about him on Twitter or X. And my constitutional litigators called that a heckler's veto, meaning that if I'm a reporter and I'm publishing a story, some heckler says something stupid, that's not, but in Florida, I guess it works differently. The county judge or the city judge can just issue a temporary restraining order based upon that heckler, which is crazy.
It's wild. And it's not just this judge. Like I said, this is happening about 5 times a day in the state. Judges from Miami-Dade County all the way up to Leon County, where our state capital is, are doing stuff like this. Mm-hmm. And the law is what's broken. As much as I want to blame it on the judges,
it's the law.
It's the law that enables them to do that. How dare the government take away your guns without a hearing, without anything?
I think it's interesting you said 5 people a day, and that's a lot. That's 1,500 people a year. That's a pretty important constituency. Maybe you can organize those people or get them on a list or something.
But James, it could be 1 a year. It's an injustice.
Yeah, yes.
An injustice that happens anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And that's why you have to get rid of the red flag laws, the temporary injunction that says we're going to take your guns without a hearing. That's messed up.
And then the critics, what do you say to the people who lobbied for that, the survivors or the family members of the victims who argue this is necessary for public safety?
Well, what I would say is what happened in Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School at Parkland in 2018 was a tragedy. It should never have happened. We should have had armed police officers who were responsive. We should have had bulletproof doors, bulletproof glass. I want that in every single public school in our state. But you don't go and say because one 18-year-old kid committed murder that we're going to go punish a state of millions of people. What did they do? They passed red flag laws. They allowed your guns to be confiscated without a hearing. They raised the age to own a gun from 18 up to 21. Think about that. If you're 18, 19, or 20, you're still getting taxed by the government. You can still be drafted into war into the Middle East, but you can't own a gun to defend yourself. Those are the laws that came after Parkland. They were actually signed into law by a Republican governor, Rick Scott, and that was disastrous. So I've made it one of my missions as Florida's next governor to stand up for the Second Amendment and repeal the entirety of those Parkland gun control provisions.
Hey, first time running for office, right?
Yeah.
What have you learned about yourself?
I have learned that I have a lot more energy than I thought I did.
Oh yeah.
And that's just because when you go out and you talk to people, you get to have some of their energy as well. I had already visited almost every part of my state because I grew up here my entire life. And I've seen it in a whole new light. I've seen people who were libertarians who switched over to the Republican Party to vote for me. I've sat across Korea War vets. I've sat across from young couples who have struggled to buy a home. And it's been an incredible experience.
Can you name any, maybe you can't, but is there anybody that people would know their name that is publicly supporting you, like a celebrity or someone that of interest?
Sure, there's quite a few. Tucker Carlson.
Tucker's a supporter of yours?
Well, Tucker said he's endorsed us, he's voting for me.
You've been on his show?
I was on a show in January, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Have you been on Fox News?
I have.
Nice. And what have you learned about just people in general, citizens, anything that struck you about when you're talking to all these people?
Most people love this country. They're not bowing to the far left, to the woke, to the Democrat socialists. They want to protect our country. Most people, even if they don't admit it, they believe the Republican Party will represent them best, and that's what I'm fighting for.
Any interesting anecdotes or favorite moments from maybe a funny story?
Well, there's one that really sticks with me, which is a young man I met had a 4.0 GPA, top of his class at Florida State University, FSU in Tallahassee. And he applied to 100 different jobs at a single company called Amazon. Maybe you've heard of it. And Amazon came back to him and said, we're not hiring American citizens right now, only H-1Bs from India.
Did he get that on a recording? Did he record that?
He got it in an email.
Okay, well that's good.
It's pretty wild. And
is that even legal?
Well, that's the problem, is that the H-1B program allows you to fire or refuse to hire American citizens and hire Indians instead. And so President Trump has rightly called it a scam. I believe it is too. And we're going to do a lot to end that scam here in Florida, because if you're qualified for a job, you should get that job. You shouldn't have to compete with cheap foreign labor.
We won't hire you unless you're illegal. Haven't heard that. That's the sort of thing we'd capture on hidden camera most of the time. What are some of the challenges that you did not expect to encounter running for governor?
The level of vitriol, it's pretty high. The way people lie.
Give me an example.
They said my mom was an illegal alien. My mom is a legal immigrant to this country.
Is your
she married
mother
my dad.
an American citizen?
She is. Yeah, she's been an American citizen for over 30 years. It's just wild, the things that they say. But at the end of the day, most voters see right through it. They saw how President Trump was lied about in the media by almost everybody. And so when you go and talk to people face to face, they see the real version of you.
So they've attacked your mother?
My family, sure.
Your family, that's probably the hardest thing?
It is.
Yeah. You're no stranger to controversy. Having spoken to you and having known you for an hour, you seem very articulate, well-spoken. You ever think of the potential consequences for using words like, did you use the word Goyslop?
I did.
Did you call Byron Donalds a slave?
I did.
And a DEI hire?
I did.
Or calling him Byron? Byron. I just want to know if you thought these comments were helpful or what your thoughts are on using those terms.
You know, I'm not a politically trained media professional. And so I just say things that come to me. Why do I call him a DEI hire? Not because he's black. There are plenty of DEI hires from all shades of melanin. I called him that because he didn't earn it. He's trying to become the governor of Florida, but he refuses to debate. We had a debate with Patrick Bet-David 2 weeks ago. I won the debate with 79%.
In front of Donalds?
In front of the voters.
Well, in front of the voters.
Byron did not show up.
He didn't. I missed the debate. Was it in the studio in Fort Lauderdale?
Yes, it was. There was 200 people there. Patrick Bet David put it on. 100,000 people watched live.
Wow.
And
on YouTube?
On YouTube. And my other competitors showed up. I was the highest polling person on that stage. I'm in second place in every single poll. But Byron didn't show up because he says that our campaign is not real. I don't know, tell it to the 200 people who saw us last night in Orlando at 10 p.m. at night. We're the only campaign, by the way. Florida has 67 counties. We're the only campaign in Florida history that has visited all 67 counties and met with voters.
What does the data currently say about where you stand, the polling data?
Second place, depending on the poll, we're down about 10 to 12 points.
So yeah, and I got to ask you the tough questions here, using those words.
Sure.
Just you're being politically incorrect. You're just. Talk to me more about that.
Well, look, I can talk about them individually.
Yeah,
DEI.
Goyslop.
Goyslop is a funny internet slang term that's about the fast food that gets served to our kids, to families. It's about the stuff that gets served in cafeterias. And I used it in the context of a big speech at the University of Central Florida saying, quote, we're going to get the Goyslop out of the cafeterias. We don't want Mexican pizza. We don't want Jamaican beef patties. We don't want Pop-Tarts. Give us an omelet station in the cafeteria for the kids. Give us turkey burger. Give us steak tacos.
That might be something we agree with Michelle Obama on, right?
Yeah, but Michelle Obama,
she took it in a different direction.
Or maybe he had the opportunity to fix that. Of course, he didn't. But
and the real question is, do you think Michelle Obama is a man?
I'm not convinced Michelle Obama is a woman. I'll put it to you that way.
That's a very clever response. That was a big controversy at the White House, right? That who was this UFC fighter said that Michelle Obama's a man. What do they say, Big Mike? Is that what they call it? Big Mike. So the Goyslop was referring to food in the cafeteria.
In the cafeteria. And I get labeled as anti-Semitic, it seems like every single day by the media.
Why do people say that about
I don't know why, because every single day I've condemned the hatred of Jews. I think anti-Semitism has no place in our society. And I think the way you stand up for folks is you protect everyone's rights. And that means protecting Jewish Floridians. They're deserving of the same safety and security as Christians are. Yeah. And I'll always be a friend of the Jewish community here in Florida as I will to Christians.
It's definitely a difficult issue right now. It seems to have divided the conservative movement and the Republican Party.
It has. Criticizing the Israeli government, saying that we don't want $5 billion of our hard-earned tax dollars to be sent to any government, whether it's Somalia or Zimbabwe or Russia or Ukraine, or even Israel. I think we need to realign foreign policy with Israel, but I'm not running to be president or secretary of state. I'm running to be the governor of Florida.
I mean, I'll get attacked. I'm sure I get attacked no matter what I do, but I mean, for even interviewing you, it's this stupid, unfortunately, people are that's the way our politics is. I reject the premise that me, as interviewing anybody, it doesn't mean I endorse them. I'll be interviewing Donalds, interview you. I just think that we've gotten to a place in American society where people are just so divided.
They are.
So how do you solve that? How do we as Americans solve that?
I think you solve it by being honest.
Okay.
That if you interview me, or if I go on CNN, that says nothing about whether I endorse your views, you endorse my views, or we jointly endorse CNN's views. You've been on the mainstream media. You've been on these big networks, the people you disagree with. So we need to have productive conversations.
Well, when I testified in the Senate Wednesday, this is Rand Paul, and it was Senator Johnson, Senator Paul, Senator Moreno, Senator Ernst. There was like some big-time senators, and not a single United States senator who's a Democrat showed up to Nick Shirley and I. Not Democrat. I was expecting hostile cross-examination from them about like my sordid past and false allegations, and I thought that was interesting. I've never seen that before.
Isn't that wild?
I don't know what that means, but it does seem like we're very divided. And going back to the Israel issue, Charlie Kirk, said this pretty famously, that people under a certain age, they just don't have the same support that older people do. Foreign policy support for Israel. The younger generation doesn't seem to have that.
And the younger generation has very little support for giving money to any foreign country. I mean, if you ask young people, do you want to give money to Ukraine or Zelensky? They'll tell you just the same no that they will to Israel. And so why is that? Because they can't get jobs, they can't buy a home, they don't see the American dream in the same way that our parents might have seen it. And at the same time, to take millions of dollars from AIPAC to send billions of dollars to Israel seems like a bad trade. I actually signed a legally binding contract, James, because I'm a business guy. And I published this a month ago, and it's gotten over 5 million views. And what it says is that if I break any of my promises that I've laid out in my campaign, that I will forfeit my run for re-election. legally, irrevocably forfeit my run, because I believe that you're only as good as a contract that you're willing to sign. I want voters
some things
to
you may
trust
not
me.
be able to control, like you may not have the authority in some of these cases.
Well,
you have to
sure.
persuade other people.
But at the same time, the buck stops with me. I would never, one of those promises, by the way, was to never take money from AIPAC, from CARE, from any foreign organization that lobbies on behalf of foreign interests. So if it turns out that I took even $1 from an organization that represents the government of India, the government of Israel, or any country in between, I legally cannot run for re-election. Another one is a personal issue for me, is the issue of life. I signed a contract that says that if I ever sign into law any bill that expands or funds abortion in Florida, I cannot run for re-election. I was a CEO of a company. Whether my employees screwed up or not, it's still my responsibility. If I become the governor of Florida, I'll become effectively the governor, the CEO of the state. And so whatever happens under me in the state house or the state senate, that's going to fall on me, and it's my responsibility to rein these people in.
Yeah, so you're not anti-Semitic.
No.
Yeah, and that's, unfortunately, that's the world we live in. People.
What that's become, and I think you understand this, it's become the new shut up. If you say something, you're racist. It's effectively saying shut up. If you say something about Israel, I disagree with sending more money to Israel, you're anti-Semitic. That's just you saying shut up. You don't have a real argument to come back with. I believe in free speech. I believe in open debate. I knew Charlie, you knew Charlie a lot better than I did.
I was just about to bring that up.
Charlie died a martyr in the act of debating on a college campus. And I think that what we have to do is we have to stand up for everyone's right to free speech in this country. If you disagree with someone, don't tell them to shut up. Don't call them a racist anti-Semite. Tell them that they're wrong. Engage in a good faith conversation, because if you believe your position is so defensible, then defend it and convince them through the art of persuasion.
You knew Charlie?
I knew.
So tell me about your relationship with him, and how did you meet him? And
he DM'd me in 2023 on X, and I started a high school debate league. I was a big high school debater down here in South Florida. I was actually a national champion in 2012. And I started a free debate league for kids here in Florida. And that really started out of a place of high school debate getting woke in our public schools. And so I built a competing debate league that was built on actual free speech and not woke ideology. And so I wrote this article about how high school debate had been hijacked by left-wing ideologues. Charlie read it, was very complimentary, DM'd me. I went on his show. We had a great conversation. And then we stayed in touch over the years, and I last saw him about a month before he was killed.
He was a guy who lifted people up. And I've not met many people like that. People tear you down, or he lifted people up.
He did.
It's very rare. And he DM'd you.
He DM'd me out of the blue.
He was a talent. It's like a talent scout almost.
Total.
Yeah.
And even the liberals who debated Charlie on college campuses, they would even tell you after they went up there and came back from the mic, they respected him in a totally different way. And even if you disagree with Charlie, he never made you feel less than, which I think a lot of liberals often do. But even people on our side, they try to tear you down.
Yeah.
They try to destroy you. And I think the way to debate is to elevate, persuade, but make people feel like they're still worthy of respect.
Right. The polling number is in the single digits right now. How do you plan to turn that around?
That's one poll that was
Which
actually
poll is that?
The AIF poll, Associated Industries of Florida. That group actually endorsed Byron. It's given him over $2 million. Anybody who comes to our events when we have 300, 400 people would know that we are not polling in the single digits. Our internal polls have Byron obviously in first place, but we are right behind him in second. Honestly, James, I don't believe the polls after what they showed for Trump for years. And so what I'm going to do is over the next 31 days, I'm going to keep fighting. The final poll is on August 18th. That's the only one that matters.
August 18th.
Is the
when
election.
is election? That's the primary day of election. August 18th. I know that August is going to be a wild month in this country. And the SAVE Act, I mean, people tell me in D.C. it can't pass because they don't have enough votes unless they break the filibuster. And what are your views on that?
They should.
They should break the filibuster.
Yeah, I'm generally opposed to it. But here's the thing. The number one argument to not break the filibuster is if you do it, the Democrats will do it. The Democrats are going to do it anyway. They're going to do it to defund ICE, to shut all sorts of law enforcement programs down federally. So we can't use that argument. If you don't have safe elections in this country, you do not have a country. So I generally would be opposed to breaking the filibuster, nuking it. But in the case of voter ID, I would support it.
I say if they break the filibuster, and many of these senators have told me some of them have told me privately they oppose breaking the filibuster, then how do you prevent a situation where the pendulum swings violently back and forth like what James Madison and people in the Federalist Papers warned us about? I mean, there has to be almost like a detente.
He recognized you.
What did he say?
He recognized James.
Hey, turn around. Let's talk to him. Turn around. We got to say hello to our supporters. Did he recognize the gubernatorial candidate or me?
Fishback. I said Fishback.
Oh, he recognized Fishback.
Yeah.
Oh, this should be interesting.
Sorry, for once it's not you.
No, I'm more excited they recognize him. Let's say hello to these people and find out what they are.
Good interview.
We're having a good interview, and
This is called voter outreach.
Someone recognized, I think, the gubernatorial candidate here.
Hey guys, how are ya?
You guys have a Tommy Foster?
I'm going there at 8. Yeah.
Yeah? Going for a little cruise?
Yeah, I'm gonna have a little interview with James O'Keefe. Yeah, you gonna come out?
Thinking about it.
Come on out.
The weather's a little rough.
It's gonna go north. We'll be all right.
Yeah.
Did you guys?
Nice seeing you.
Are you registered Republicans? Are you voting for us on August 18th?
Okay. All right. Well, we met some supporters of James here out on the water. That's interesting.
That is my first aquatic adventure
aquatic.
to meet voters.
It helps that you're wearing a suit on the boat. Fishback. Is that what he said? Is that what he said?
He just said, I hope you beat APAC Shakur.
What did he say?
I hope you beat APAC Shakur.
APAC Shakur?
Byron Donalds' nickname.
That's I call him APAC Shakur.
Oh my God.
He takes money.
OMG.
Nope.
All right. We're gonna do what now?
We're gonna pull in
Thank you.
sailfish.
And just hang out for a while?
Yeah, I just don't want you to get.
As long as he's back by 7:15.
Worst case, we're gonna have to Uber from here.
Copy that.
Or we'll have to just start hauling ass there.
Copy that. I mean, if we haul ass right now, we won't make it.
We'll make it.
It's up to you. You're the captain. What do you want to do? You want to haul ass or pull in?
I'll haul ass.
What's your preference?
Let's haul.
Okay.
Let's haul.
It's kind of fun.
And by the way, this thing goes like 50 knots, so hang on, guys. What was the question?
Byron Donalds' favorite Vietnamese cafe. How is it pronounced?
How is Byron Donalds' favorite Vietnamese cafe pronounced? One of the questions that people wanted to ask me.
So it's a great question. We had an event in Pinellas Park in St. Petersburg at a Vietnamese cafe. And the Vietnamese cafe is spelled B-I-C-H-N-G-A. B-I-C-H space N-G-A.
Okay.
And we had 400 people show up there.
We'll just put the letters on the screen. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to have to interview him as well. And what is he going to say about that? What do you think his response is going to be?
I don't know, but honestly, I don't care. I think politics has gotten too sterilized. I grew up here. This is the way I talk. These are the people I grew up around. And
maybe he won't be offended. I don't know.
You know what's so funny is he hits me with this stuff. There's a new ad that's running during the World Cup about me that has me on a fishing boat. I don't know if you guys have seen this. And there's a flapping fish and he's yelling the whole time. My wife and I thought it was hilarious, and it's a $5 million attack ad against us. And so I actually find their attacks amusing. I think humor is what we need more in politics.
Last month, is it true the Republican Party of Florida uninvited you to some Sunshine State Showdown Candidate Forum? What's that? What happened there?
So they invited me to be a keynote speaker, and then 48 hours later, no less than Randy Fine and almost every establishment Republican in Florida boycotted the event and saying you can't bring Fishback. He is a threat to the party, whatever that means. I guess I am a threat to the
Are
establishment.
you willing to name names in the Republican Party of Florida? Who was the individual responsible?
It was
If you're comfortable.
Yeah, it was Rick Scott, it was Ashley Moody, it was Randy Fine, it was Byron Donalds.
Ashley Moody, the senator?
Yes.
So both United States senators who were incidentally in the hearing and asking me questions on Wednesday in Washington at Rand Paul's hearing. They're both on that committee. Both Florida senators were there.
Yeah.
Rick Scott.
Rick Scott's a nice enough guy, but I just don't think if you don't agree with me, you don't do what the left does, which is cancel and censor and kick people out. You invite me, and then you have somebody go up there and disagree with me publicly, and that's what Charlie would have wanted. I mean, Charlie invited people to Turning Point events who he vehemently disagreed with.
That
he would
was
have debates
right
on
before
stage.
he died in Tampa. He had everyone. I think he had
Josh Hammer and he had Tucker Carlson.
I think he had Shapiro and Tucker at the same event.
At the same exact event.
So do you take that personally? No,
not at all.
Does it affect you emotionally? Do you feel betrayal? Do you feel these things?
Not at all. We had an event actually about 5 miles up the street with over 300 people, our own counter-programming event. we don't need the Republican establishment. That Republican establishment, by the way, hated a guy named Donald Trump, hated a guy named Ron DeSantis, hated a guy named Pat Buchanan and Ronald Reagan. I don't think the Republican establishment would have very much liked Thomas Jefferson or James Madison.
Right.
And so I'm not running to fit in, I'm running to get stuff done.
So Trump endorsed Donalds, I think?
He did, 2 years ago.
Were you surprised by that? What do you think about that?
Well, he endorsed Donalds before I had entered the race.
Okay.
So it's kind of like hiring somebody before the other person applied. I don't take any stock to it. I think Florida voters don't, hence why we've gone from 2% to second place in the polls.
Have you met Trump?
I have.
Where
I
did you
respect
meet
him.
him?
I met him at Mar-a-Lago in 2024. I had an event there.
So he knows of you.
He does.
Very good. I don't support doxing donor names because I think it's a First Amendment right to freedom of association, but what is the amount of your biggest donor?
About $1 million.
To your political action committee? Or
yes.
Because your campaign is limited with small, is it
3,000.
3,000.
In Florida, yeah.
$1 million. And you've proposed this sin tax, do I have that correct?
Yes.
On OnlyFans?
OnlyFans creators would be charged with a 50% sin tax for creating pornography in Florida.
Never in my whole life did I think that I would wake up and see a Florida politician trying to start beef with me for clout.
Why?
Because pornography is bad. And if I could ban it, I would. The First Amendment, the way it's interpreted by the courts today, would not ban it. And so I'm going to do the next best thing, which is to raise the tax so high, so punitive, that young girls will not be exploited by the OnlyFans platform and can do something dignified, like have a great career or be a stay-at-home mom.
It seems like an epidemic in Miami.
Very much so. I mean, there's entire buildings in Miami where it seems like half the girls are on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
The Panorama, one in particular. But I don't want pornography in our state. I think it hurts men, it hurts women. It turns us into a godless, soulless culture. I don't just have the sin tax, which applies a 50% income tax on women who create the content. I also have the Simp tax.
The Simp tax?
The Simp tax, which is a 50% tax on men who buy the pornographic content.
Really?
Yeah, so if you're buying or selling explicit adult material in Florida, you're going to get taxed into oblivion.
Now, pornography is very popular. And maybe people don't want to admit it, but like, pornography, this is just, don't kill the messenger. People love porn.
Yeah.
Their actions indicate that they support, go watch it. So with the Simp tax, and people also don't talk about that it's the demand for the OnlyFans.
I agree.
Everyone talks about the girls, but nobody seems to talk about the demand.
That's why I want to tax it.
Huge demand.
Well, and it comes from a place, I think, for men where it's a lot of men, and even I felt this growing up, like we don't know how to talk to women.
Yeah.
And so we get shunned out, we get stigmatized, they come up with tags like toxic masculinity. Anything a guy does is apparently toxically masculine. And so there's a bigger reckoning that needs to happen. But the sin tax and the Simp tax, and I'm very serious about this, these are policies that start to crack down on pornography. But what's going to save us is Jesus Christ. What is going to save us is recommitting ourselves to God. And that's something that I hope to do as governor.
But I mean, Charlie Kirk has said, to me and to others that he's struggled with pornography. I mean, I've struggled with it growing up. I mean, have you ever struggled with it?
Sure.
And how did you get through that?
My faith.
Your faith?
Yeah.
And how old were you when you overcame that?
This was probably my high school years if I think back on it. And I say this because it's very easy for young men to get sucked into this trap. You're on Instagram, you're on TikTok, you're watching videos of people skydiving. Next thing you know, you're watching videos of girls snorkeling. Next thing you know, you're watching videos of girls in bikinis. Next thing you know, you're watching OnlyFans softcore content.
Yeah.
And so it's never been easier for young men and even young women to get exposed to pornography on the internet. And it is destroying relationships. It is destroying.
I feel like Instagram is destroying women or the need to be validated and liked, and pornography is destroying men.
Yeah.
It's a toxic thing.
But when pornography destroys men, it also destroys all the women that the men would be with or otherwise be with.
There's no question it's not good. No bueno.
So
if it's no bueno.
So James, if it's not good, which I think everybody on this vessel would agree with.
I think actually
most Americans, Democrat, Republican.
I'm just making this up, but 80% of people would say it's not good that men are addicted to porn, and women don't. But there's a difference between something being not good and the government is
and I'm not taking a stance, I'm just asking, the government intervening and taxing it.
Yeah.
That's some people watching this who are fans of mine, maybe even fans of yours. I don't want to tax people like that. What do you say to that?
What I say to them is porn causes societal damage and economic damage that taxpayers are already paying for. I'll give you an example. If you're a porn star and you quit your job and you do porn for the average of 2 years, and then you're unemployed because nobody wants to hire an ex-OnlyFans porn star, you're gonna be collecting welfare, food stamps, unemployment benefits. Those are things that could have been avoided that we're paying for now had we just taxed you at the beginning so you didn't go down this path. You didn't quit your job bartending or working at a bookstore, and you actually did something dignified. And so society is paying the cost for a lot of this porn addiction, and the only way to stop it oftentimes is to raise a tax that is so punitive that the behavior stops in the first place.
Interesting. It's an interesting economic argument. What do you think other states are getting wrong that Florida can somehow get right?
Well, states are approving data centers. States seem to believe that the solution to making housing affordable is to build affordable housing. Those little Section 8 style huts. I disagree. If you want to make housing affordable again, you get rid of the 1.4 million illegal aliens who are living in single family homes all over the state. You ban Blackstone and BlackRock from buying homes in the first place. You create a down payment assistance program. You stop foreign national investors from China and Russia and Brazil from being able to buy homes. We have a housing shortage, and the way you stop a housing shortage...
A housing shortage in Florida?
In Florida. And the way you do that to protect home ownership for the next generation isn't to build 5 million little Davos-style affordable housing huts. It's to unleash all the housing supply on the market.
95 between Miami and West Palm, it's a son of a bitch to get back and forth. It's clogged. I mean, you got a good train here. What is it called, the Bright Line?
Bright Line, yeah.
Well, first of all, how do you solve that issue with the transportation infrastructure?
Well, you got two trains that connect South Florida. You got the Tri-Rail and you got the Bright Line. The Tri-Rail is run by the government. The Bright Line's a private company. I think you need both. I think you need to get people onto public transit, whether that's Tri-Rail, Bright Line, a bus, even Uber rideshare. You got to get people out of their cars. And for those who want to continue driving, you got to make sure our streets are safe. You have habitually bad drivers. You have people who speed recklessly, weaving in and out of lanes. You got illegal alien truck drivers who make illegal U-turns on the turnpike, as one did 2 years ago, and kill a minivan full of people. And so you can't have that, but we got to invest in our infrastructure in Florida.
Well, what did Bright Line do right? Because compared to the Bridge to Nowhere and the Railway to whatever it's called in California, where they spent $100 billion, and then why is Bright Line working?
It's run by a private company. It didn't use government infrastructure. It also was responsive to market needs. It built stations where there was actual demand and connected areas that had so much traffic that it was responding to a real need on the ground, as opposed to government bureaucrats connecting two places that otherwise would not be connected. And so Bright Line is great. I met with their CEO last month, and they're doing good work. His name is Patrick.
Yeah, that's a pretty clean train. Maybe people aren't from this area.
I love it.
It's pretty.
It's very high tech, very fast.
I oftentimes have to have conversations on the phone, so I can't take the train because I can't have people listening to me speaking with sources inside the Pentagon and all that. But I've taken it, and it's impressive how clean it is.
Yes.
We're almost there.
You got to support this man. He's one of the last journalists left who's willing to stand up to the deep state. At the Federal Reserve, at the Pentagon, at the State Department, at the White House, James O'Keefe is an American patriot who believes in the First Amendment.
And we have
it's very comfortable.
We have the shirts. We have the athletic shirts that we've made ourselves. Expose the motherfuckers. We couldn't take the sailboat under the bridge, but Captain Scott saved us. He took us out on the boat. We've got James Fishback running for governor. I think a Wall Street Journal did a story on you. It was a long, was it an editorial page or what was it?
It was, yeah.
Was that the weekend editorial?
It was.
I read that. So you're getting some some mainstream media coverage.
We are. And what people really care about is they want someone who's going to show up. I mentioned earlier before we went on that I'm calling 500 voters a day myself.
That's wild.
And so we've got 100 people calling, interns, volunteers from all over the state, but I've made it a point to spend a couple hours a day calling voters in between stops.
Wow.
And I had a great call with a lady named Dolores today, 91 years old, lives in Green Cove Springs, which is in Clay County up in Northeast Florida, talking about Social Security, property taxes, senior citizen services in our state. And so you can have the mainstream media. I'm grateful for it, I guess. You can have the money. We've got a little bit of it. But there's nothing like just talking to voters and almost letting them interview you. I was interviewed for jobs growing up. You were as well.
Yeah.
There's nothing like talking to someone.
Is there a commonality? Is there something that all of them say? Like in my case, it's, for example, with me, they say, you need to come to Omaha. I have the most corrupt. Every one of them, the commonality is pitching me on a story I need to do. What's the commonality for you?
The biggest thing in common, whether you're young or old, whether you live in Pensacola or here in Palm Beach County, is the state is getting too expensive. And they fear that the state that was maybe one of the most affordable 20 years ago is quickly becoming the most expensive.
Hey, Scott, that's what you always say, that where is the Florida I grew up in the 90s? It's changed.
Yeah.
It's changed.
I know.
It's getting expensive. They used to have hundreds of, you know what a mooring ball is? It's a ball in the water that you hook your sailboat to. They kicked out hundreds of sailboats out of the, what's the name of this body of water? Lake Worth?
Lake Worth, yeah.
It's the intercoastal, they call it Lake Worth. How many sailboat moorings do they have there?
Probably 300.
300. Do you have a public policy view on that?
I don't. Were you moored?
No, but I think, Scott, they're trying to like kick out all the sailors because this is a lot of very wealthy area here, billionaires, millionaires, and I think they're just trying to, make it, wealthier. But it's kind of an allegory for the state of Florida.
Development,
for
paving over wetlands.
I mean, I personally am against it because I'm a sailor and I support sailing and I love having the mooring ball because it makes it less expensive.
Come to think of it, a lot of sailboats were sitting out here, weren't they?
There used to be 300 sailboats sitting out there.
How did you navigate through? You have to go cut through them?
No, they were out of the ice. They were out of the navigable waters.
Okay.
They were on top of the sandbar areas.
There's an ICW which is pretty narrow and they're like, 100 feet away from it. But they kicked out all the sailors, so.
Point out the Lucky Charm.
And there's the Lucky Charm sitting at the dock because there was a homeless man on the bridge. But we're back, and I'm just about out of time. You're a firm believer in not only America first, but Florida first. What does that mean?
Well, Florida first means we got to put Floridians first when it comes to jobs, when it comes to housing. I love people from New York and New Jersey, but we've taken a lot of you guys in over the last 5 or 6 years since COVID.
Are we bringing our politics with us?
I know you're not. I know a lot of you are.
I just mean broadly speaking.
Broadly, yes.
We are, okay.
And look, it's one thing to say you left New York because you didn't like COVID, but you also support transgenderism or whatever. I don't think anybody in New York particularly liked COVID, but leaving New York to come to Florida over COVID lockdowns does not make you a conservative. It makes you a refugee. And I love people from New York, but we are not a refugee camp for New Yorkers. What it also means, James, is that anytime that the federal government and Florida are in conflict, I'm going to put the interest of Florida first. So for example, red snapper season was shot down by a federal judge. You have AI policy being dictated by bureaucrats in Washington, D.C., not here in Florida. And so I'm always going to focus on building policy that works for our state as opposed to pleasing D.C.
The bridge is finally open.
The homeless guy is gone.
As soon as we get back, the bridge opens. It took an hour and a half. This is James O'Keefe with gubernatorial candidate James Fishback running for governor of Florida. And this is My Price is My Life, Setting Sail with James Fishback.
Tune in every week for a new episode of My Price is My Life, Setting Sail. And subscribe to O'KeefeMediaGroup.com for exclusive documentaries and sneak peeks at upcoming content before anyone else. And check out O'KeefeStore.com for exclusive merch. Stay tuned.